Ollie Watkins, do you know what? I feel a little bit sorry for him this season, because earlier on, in the first half of the campaign, he had John Duran breathing down his neck. The minute he left, Marcus Rashford and Marco Asensio come in, seemingly having this brilliant partnership, and Ollie Watkins has really been sort of left on the sidelines a little bit. And from striker to striker, Dean Ashton, when everything is so about the confidence, especially when you're a striker, and Ollie Watkins has been the main man for the last couple of seasons, there's been a bit of instability in his role. How much do you think that would have affected him?
You've got to be careful with us. We're very delicate strikers, because we are
laughing.
Thanks, Sam. Because our egos need to be stroked. We have to feel like we are the man in the team, and when you have that, I think that's when you can become the star, the big player, the player that produces. Ollie Watkins can be that, and I think his mentality's been magnificent. Dropped for PSG, dropped for Manchester City in the league in such a big game, having to then come in, showing the manager actually what a great attitude he's always had, and it wouldn't surprise me if he goes and gets a couple today.
If he gets a couple, he'll eclipse the record currently held by Gabby Agbonlahor. I don't think he'll be too happy about that, but you know what an atmosphere here at Villa Park. Not quite the May sunshine, but they've got 4 games left to secure Champions League football, just 2 to make the most of their considerable home advantage. They're unbeaten in the league so far in their last 16. One more without a loss, that would equal their longest ever run at home, and that was under Unai Emery. Do you know what? He's got a 100% record against today's visitors as well. But Fulham know just how hard it is to play here. They've won once here in their last 20 attempts. They've lost their last 5 in a row. Both teams need the win. Let's see how they get on in the company of Dean Ashton and Sam Maspace.
Afternoon, everyone. Well, it won't be long before they transform this place. We are at Villa Park, the vibrant hub of Aston Villa, where they have already transformed the fortunes of the team, and soon the stadium of 4 separate stands steeped in history will be upgraded to provide even more opportunity to this former European champion. And offer a Villa fan a Champions League quarter-final, a semi-final of the FA Cup, and a chance to get into Europe's top competition 2 years ago, they would have bitten your hand off. But the transformation of this team and their ambitions means that they don't want to finish the season without accomplishing something. Fulham's players know they could be in a European conversation too. Should things fall kindly for them, they could be heading to maybe the Conference League next season. But like Villa, their form has been good but not great, just when it matters most. Win today and Fulham go within 3 points of Villa, but more significantly force Brighton and Bournemouth to chase them. And Dean Ashton, the scenarios are wide and varied, but the outcomes that both these 2 teams desire can only be achieved by winning and winning and winning. How do you see the game?
Well, I think Aston Villa have got what feels like so much riding on this. At home, in front of your home fans, off the back of a big defeat in the FA Cup semi-final. All of those factors, I think, put more pressure on Aston Villa. Fulham come here, of course, wanting European football, but could sit and soak up pressure, which I'm sure they will do. It's that time of the season, Sam. What have you got left in the tank? What have you got in reserve? What can you muster now as a side to get yourselves over the line and the rewards that are there at the end of it?
Well, Aston Villa make just one change from the FA Cup semi-final defeat last weekend to Crystal Palace. They bring in Ian Maatsen at left back in place of Luca Dean. The goalkeeper is Emi Martinez, Matt Cash, Konza, Torres and Maatsen the back four. McGinn, Tielemans and Kamara in midfield, with Rodgers, Watkins and Asensio going forward. As far as Fulham are concerned, they start with Bernd Leno, Kenny Tete, Anderson, Fassi and Robinson, Lukic, Bergen, Iwobi in midfield, Harry Wilson, Jimenez and Sessegnon leading the line. It's 2 changes from the win, the dramatic late injury time win against Southampton at St Mary's. There's no Andreas Pereira in the squad. He didn't have a great game at St Mary's, but we think it's an injury that's keeping him out of the squad today. The Premier League is our focus here. The race for Europe is our focus here on Talksport and the Talk Network. The EFL Championship is the focus of those on Talksport too. Will Luton survive? Will Coventry or Middlesbrough reach the playoffs? Can Millwall sneak in? Well, Talksport 2 and our new improved Talksport app, which gives you the ability to listen, to watch, to review, to pick up podcasts, watch the best clips, very easy to navigate and get through, is the place to be for that. We will keep you completely across the scenarios that are happening and unfolding in the EFL Championship, of which these two have recent experience. And there is a fantastic record that Aston Villa have against Fulham, but in the big games they've tended to sort of be beaten by them, including a Championship playoff final between the two just 6 years ago.
Yeah, I was there and it was a shock. I'm sure these players won't be thinking about that, that's for sure. There's so much focus of what they've had this season. There's so much focus leading up to this game. It's what the masses of staff members that are now available to players before these types of games, that you are flooded with information to focus on.
Well, certainly the Championship scenarios are a lot more easy to navigate than the European qualification picture. The situation is complicated, but Aston Villa and Fulham know that they just have to win and keep on winning. Our referee is Rob Jones today. Aston Villa in claret shirts with light blue sleeves and white shorts and light blue socks will attack the goal. The North Stand away to our left, which is going to be knocked down soon. Then they're going to build a brand new one away to our left-hand side and ready for the European Championships here in 2028. And Fulham in white shirts with black shorts and white socks attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. Dean Ashton, we've seen a spate of early goals this week. Spurs into PSG, Man City at Wembley last Sunday. Is that a tactic of getting the ball forward quickly? Well, it is, because Wilson has been sent through the middle, straight from the off, and Martinez has to come straight out and catch the ball.
Did you know they had that routine? You did.
I didn't.
Surely. That so nearly came off. It was brilliant. It just got fed back to Bassi. Bassi just played a brilliant ball over the top. Harry Wilson was in. If that ball was just a little lower, he was in on goal.
I've just noticed that it's happened over the last couple of weeks, that I've seen a lot of teams that go straight for it.
You've got
right from the very off.
A spy in the camp.
Fulham
should know that.
Don't tell them, whatever you do. We've settled down a little bit, and Pau Torres has it right on the edge of the penalty area. He takes a couple of steps forward, looks up, moves forward. The game's starting over on Talksport 2 between Coventry and Middlesbrough, and that's underway. And we'll keep you updated with any goals that go in throughout the course of the afternoon here on Talksport. The EFL comes to its conclusion in its entirety today, and Adrian Durham takes you around the ground from 2:30. Here's Ollie Watkins on the centre circle, playing it forward to Asensio, who then guides the ball out towards the right-hand side, comes infield towards Tielemans. And this is what I was worried about with Villa, so much through the middle of the pitch where it's so heavily congested. Can they get the ball out wide? It falls to McGinn inside the box. It's cleared away by Bassi. Cash now providing the width will pick it up. He right side of the penalty area, produces a cross into the penalty area. It's a dangerous one, which is headed away and then picked up by Wilson and scooped up towards the halfway line, and it's 0-0. We played just over a minute and a half.
That started though with Pau Torres just piercing through towards Watkins, who was able to turn and find Asensio. And it can work going through the middle for Villa if they can find a Rodgers or a McGinn in space, because of the ability for them to travel with the ball.
Here is Cash down the right-hand side, exchanging passes with McGinn, getting into a crossing position, but it just was a little bit heavy, the return ball from McGinn, which was flicked forward down into the right corner of the field, and it runs out of play and goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Forest's 2-0 loss to Brentford dented their hopes of a top 5 finish and handed the initiative to their Champions League rivals. Manchester City responded last night with a not altogether convincing win over Wolverhampton Wanderers, live on Talksport last evening. Aston Villa, they're the next to play. They're playing here this afternoon. A win will take them level on points with Chelsea and Forest, but those two teams do play later in the weekend. The ooh that you heard was for a scything ball through the defence by Fulham, which almost reached an Aston Villa player, didn't, and was cleared to the halfway line. Anderson has it short of the centre circle, midway inside his own half. Plays it square to Bassi, who gives it away straight to Boubacar Kamara, who intercepts inside the Fulham half. Then he in turn gives it to Sasa Lukic, and Fulham are back where they were.
Yeah, didn't capitalise on that. Kamara in midfield, and just looking at John McGinn's positioning, he is playing that right-hand side of midfield. He will have to try and get out towards Robinson as he raids down the left.
Here's Watkins in behind, played in by Tielemans, but it didn't come down for him, and Anderson has shuffled him out wide into a left wing position. He's taking on Tete now. Watkins with his back to goal forces the challenge from Tete, puts it out for the first corner of the game. No, says Rob Jones, he's going to give a goal kick. And there isn't too many complaints from Ollie Watkins, despite the noise from the North stand away to our left.
Yeah, he didn't play his role very well there, Watkins, did he? Obviously knew it came off his foot, but it was an opportunity. I actually thought Ollie Watkins there, as that was just fed over the top by Tielemans and was bouncing, to volley that left-footed towards goal so early on in the game. He didn't decide to do that and sort of ran out of space.
Fulham trying to play out from the back. The high press is on from Aston Villa, and it's given away to McGinn, and then into the penalty area. But Watkins can't get there ahead of Anderson. That will go out for a corner. He spooned that behind, but Fulham getting caught out by the Aston Villa press, and it goes towards the far side. They don't always do that, Aston Villa.
No, they don't. They've obviously looked at the way Fulham like to play. Both of these teams very similar in terms of average possession throughout the season. Fulham 8th and Aston Villa 9th. And they will play right from the goalkeeper, really close centre-backs on the 6-yard line to play out, and Aston Villa are trying to press that.
5 minutes gone, 0-0, live on Talksport. Corner for Aston Villa. McGinn, poor delivery. Headed away easily by Harry Wilson. Out to the far side, and then Cash will get it all the way back to his goalkeeper. I mean, look, Villa have had a bad couple of weeks, but it's been across a load of different competitions. They had won 10 of their previous 11 matches before that defeat to Manchester City last week. But the heavy loss to Crystal Palace in the Wembley FA Cup semi-final, I think, just sort of disrupted their momentum a little bit. They're going to try and get it back today. Here's Sessegnon, who's got a bit of momentum, trying to run into the box. He's blocked by Markson. Excellent intervention by Markson, who waited, watched and pinched, and now has set Villa on the attack. Tielemans up to Watkins, round the corner towards Asensio, tries to get away from Robinson, who commits a foul. It's going to be a free kick on the edge of the centre circle, and Rob Jones wants to have a word with Anthony Robinson about his conduct there. He's not going to book him, he's just going to give him a little final warning.
I think he's a little bit fortunate there, Robinson, because he doesn't hold back. He knows he's not going to win it, but he just really leaves his leg in and catches Asensio. Probably a dead leg type of challenge as the knee went in towards the thigh of Asensio. I think he's a little lucky there.
Breaking the promising attack up, that's usually a yellow card, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well, Villa's objective certainly clear: win all of their remaining Premier League games. Reaching 69 points would give them a decent chance of securing Champions League qualification, but 69 points means maximum points between now and the end of the season. 0-0 here against the Fulham side, who also have European ambitions. Ball back to Pau Torres on halfway, into Rodgers, and finds Tielemans, but it's very tight, so he trying to flick a boot out of it. It came through to Kamara, and then eventually they build the play from inside their own half. Up to McGinn in the centre circle, looking to get it wide, and careering forward is Markson, who's got in behind, and now he's trying to take on Sessegnon, who's recovered well and put it out for another corner. It was an excellent run by Markson, who got down this left-hand side really well.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle, that, isn't it? Markson versus Sessegnon. Sessegnon has played full-back as well, so he understands the role. He did just get caught out slightly there, watching the ball and allowing Markson to get in behind. He couldn't quite control it quickly enough.
They need the atmosphere to push them along, don't they, the Aston Villa supporters. Ball down the left-hand side, Asensio into the penalty area, deep ball to the far post, and Watkins rising, glides the header out of play. So we'll go off to the Championship, and the first goal of the day, it comes at the Hawthorns for Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Not good news for Luton Town. West Bromwich Albion 1, Luton Town 0 has come from Tom Fellows. First attack of the game, works it well down the right-hand side, pops it onto his left foot, fires it low underneath Kaminski to give the home side the lead. Luton Town now in the bottom three. West Bromwich Albion 1, Luton Town 0.
Luton will be relegated if they lose, and Hull avoid defeat. At the moment, that scenario is playing out, but we've only played 8 minutes of the Championship action, and it continues to unfold over on Talksport 2, and you can listen to it via the Talksport app. Here's Kamara out towards the near side, picked up by Rodgers, who jumps forward and plays it into Watkins. Watkins now trying to travel centrally, but he was offside when the ball was played to in the first place. That's going to be a free kick away to our left-hand side. Sunderland 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1. That game has absolutely no bearing on what's happening in terms of playoffs, relegation or the title race in the EFL Championship. And basically most of the games do, which is amazing for the final day of the season. Leeds are champions if Burnley fail to better their result. Sunderland 4th and Sheffield United 3rd can't move anywhere. They will go into the playoffs. Bristol City, Coventry, Middlesbrough, Millwall and Blackburn want to join them. And relegation, only one place really to avoid. Hull start the day 3rd from bottom. Luton now dropped in there because they've conceded a goal. Derby, Preston and Stoke could all at some point this afternoon drop in. They just don't want to be there when the final whistle goes. Here, Aston Villa and Fulham trying to find a way, a path to Europe. Ball played forward by Aston Villa from the heart of their defence out to the right back, and Matty Cash, who runs down at speed the right flank of the Aston Villa far side, and then he cuts back and gives it to Konza because he didn't have any route to success going forward. Kamara tries a long diagonal ball out to the left, but Sessegnon was watching that. Tete is just playing a little bit more narrow, knowing that Martson is being watched by Sessegnon, and it's his responsibility to keep tabs on him. Sends the ball back to Sessegnon, then to Anderson, who launches it upfield, and it's tucked out by Konza and away for a throw-in. Another goal down at the Hawthorns, an equaliser, Mickey Gray.
Back on level terms, you're right, Sam. West Bromwich Albion 1, Luton Town 1. Malencia Charlie with a wonderful strike, works it well down the left-hand side, chops it onto his right foot and fires it low into the back of the net. Game on, West Brom 1, Luton Town 1.
Man, they needed that response after a setback at the Hawthorns this afternoon. It's going to be a bit like that throughout the day here on Talksport, where we're scooting around the sporting landscape, keeping you updated with everything that happens elsewhere. It's been a bright start by Aston Villa. Fulham haven't really had a sniff at the other end, Dean Ashton.
No, they haven't. They haven't been able to build anything because of that pressure from Aston Villa to press early on and not allow, especially the centre-backs, to get hold of it. Anderson in particular, his range of passing is superb. He likes to hit that diagonal to Robinson.
Here's Iwobi, though, travelling at pace down the Fulham left. A ball into the box by Robinson is cut out rather easily by Tielemans and then helped further clear. So it goes out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area in front of the Holt end away to our right-hand side. The Holt end that has been such a feature of some of the big European nights that Aston Villa have experienced here over the course of the season in the Champions League and would love to experience again. Robinson's about to take the throw-in. Straight into Iwobi, who's on the edge of the box. He then goes down the side of the left-hand edge of it, plays it back to Anthony Robinson, and that comes infield. A gust of wind almost takes out half of our equipment here in the commentary box. It has been a bit of a blustery day, actually, today here at Villa Park. And the flags flapping on the Doug Ellis stand. Ball played down the right. Sessegnon chasing. He might get the better of Pau Torres here into the penalty area. Pulls it back through the box. It's a high cross which goes all the way through. Robinson keeps it alive at the other side. A flick by Iwobi. That evades Wilson. And then it's picked up by Martson. But that was a dangerous Fulham attack. And they could have got themselves into a better position. Martson has sent Rodgers away. Down the right. He's taking on Tete. He's beaten Tete. Come in field. Played it out to Asensio, who's joined up inside the box. He tries to get the ball across. It cannons off the defender as he looks for Watkins. And Lukic puts it behind. And it just about smuggled out for a corner. But that was an attack, Dean Ashton, that was founded inside the area at the other end when Aston Villa just about got away with defending the Fulham advance.
Yeah, they did. It was brilliant from Sessegnon. He just took too long, I thought, to play that ball across. Jimenez was free in the end as he shrugged away Konza, and then down the other end, Rodgers dribbling with the ball at such pace and having that vision on the outside of his right foot to Asensio.
Corner over on the far side to be taken by John McGinn, whose left-footed delivery is aimed in towards Tielemans with a powering header. Too hot to handle for Bernd Leno, and Yuri Tielemans went towards it with a thunderous leap and header beyond the goalkeeper's reach. He got a hand on it, but he couldn't keep it out. And Aston Villa lead inside the first 15 minutes of the game.
Well, when a delivery is put in with that quality and that pace, it is begging to just get your forehead on it, because the pace is on the ball from John McGinn. It's flat, it's whipped towards that 6-yard line, and Tielemans comes from deep. He starts a little bit further out, and then he runs into the line of players perfectly, times it perfectly, catches it perfectly with the forehead, and it's just too powerful for Leno. He gets a hand to it, but he's passed him before he can really react and keep it out.
Oh, it's terrific. It really is a terrific header, and it's a brilliant delivery. And actually, the first delivery that he made from the first corner of the game was a poor one, I thought. I think there's a problem here for Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers has taken off his Under Armour, and I think because he left the pitch in order to do that, he has to go off and come back on again. And he's explaining to the fourth official that actually, Gavin Ward, why should it matter, bearing in mind there was a stoppage in play, and why do I need to come off the pitch? But that's administration for you. And Norwich have taken the lead against Cardiff as Anthony Robinson goes down the left-hand side, moves the ball into the box. It falls kindly for Raul Jimenez, who chested it down well but then couldn't get it under control, has taken himself wide and then won himself a corner. 2 goals in the game at Turf Moor. Chris Hull.
Yeah, that's right, 13 minutes on the clock. Burnley 1, Millwall 1. First of all, it's the Lions who pounce. Ivanovic inside the 6-yard box with a deft touch, but Burnley striking right back. Josh Brownhill, right-footed, far corner. Burnley 1, Millwall 1.
How good has Josh Brownhill been for Burnley this season, the captain? He's got one back after they went behind against a Millwall team that have won 5 of their last 6 and are looking to get into the playoffs. Ball deep towards the far post from the corner. It's a little bit too deep and goes out over on the far side, and it's going to be a throw into Aston Villa. It's a poor delivery in the end. This is Talksport, Saturday afternoon. Thank you very much for lending us your ears wherever you are today. It's a big day in the Championship, the final day of Championship action, and full commentary continues on Talksport 2. Here we've got Premier League action involving Aston Villa, who lead by a goal to nil, and a result that would take them level on points with Chelsea with a victory today, but still with very much work to do, as 4 teams really go for, I think, 2 places now in that Champions League area. I think Manchester City have pretty much secured themselves the right to be able to play in the Champions League next season. It's not mathematically sure, but I think they'll do that with pretty much a relative ease now.
Yeah, and they've got a good run in, and they've found a little run, haven't they?
Watkins being played in behind here. Was he clipped from behind as the ball was played? He's back on his feet now, and the referee is allowed played on. John McGinn wrestling with Sasa Lukic has now got a free kick just 15 yards inside the Fulham half of the field. Watkins has travelled over to Rob Jones to ask why he wasn't given a free kick in the first place. The referee's explained that and said get away and crack on.
And also the ball, I don't think was going to get anywhere near Watkins in the end. And how much contact really was there, as I think there was a slight pull, and then Watkins has really thrown his body towards the floor.
Well, we played 15 and a half minutes. Let's get this free kick underway, and then I'll tell you exactly what the situation is in the Championship at the moment in terms of the ups and the downs. Here is the free kick to be taken by Cash, I think. He's placed that down, and Konza is standing with him, but I don't think he's going to take it. It's quite a high line from Fulham, who are about 4 yards outside their box. Aston Villa players standing in an offside position. It is given to Cash, then back to Konza, and then he plays it sideways to Martson, and then back to Konza. And it was a bit of a waste of a free kick, really, Dean. Did they not quite craft that in the manner they expected?
Yeah, it's nonsense is what it is. I don't know what they're thinking. Again, that will have been something that is worked on, wanting to maybe change the angle, but then what's the point in setting everything up? A bit of a waste of time, but Tielemans has got the ball, and he's emerged with it over the halfway line and just down the left side of the centre circle. He's poked it to Martson, who is engaged by Sessegnon. It goes back to Pau Torres and all the way back to the goalkeeper Emi Martinez. So Burnley 1-1 with Millwall, 0-0 Coventry Middlesbrough. Norwich lead by 2-0 against 10-man Cardiff.
QPR 1-0 up away at Sunderland, 1-1 West Brom Luton. I do understand, I think, that Hull have just scored against Portsmouth, but we'll get confirmation of that in just a second. The way the league table looks as a result of that, Leeds at the moment going to be champions, and in the playoffs, Bristol City and Coventry still remaining in there, and relegation, Luton, Plymouth and Cardiff as it stands at this moment in time. Free kick on halfway, and it's going to be a free kick for Aston Villa, and Ollie Watkins was fouled in the midpoint of the pitch, and the free kick will be given to Tielemans. Goal then down at Fratton Park. Confirmation of that whole goal from Alex Crook.
Portsmouth 0, Hull City 1, corner from the left-hand side, flicked on inside the 6-yard box, and there was Matt Crooks from 6 yards out to tap home. Amber Delight to my right. Hull are staying up as it stands. Portsmouth 0, Hull 1.
Amber Delight and red alert for Luton Town. It's 1-1 in their game, which means at the moment they're going to be relegated. Might be a couple of red alerts going off for Unai Emery, because they've had 2 free kicks on or around the halfway line here, Dean Ashton. They've just given the ball back to Fulham with relative ease. I mean, what's going on?
No, I know, just looking at the directions he's trying to give, he wants, and they do have those, give the team some width. They are so narrow so often, but then you do need the width at times, and in those free kick situations, as Martson's now trying to give that.
Ball played infield though to Watkins, and Tielemans does well to try and evade Sander Berger, who then commits a foul. Free kick. Now, before you take it, think about what you're going to do next. Might be third time lucky here. They have found at least a Aston Villa body in Tielemans, who just wants to get playing again. He's then played it to Konda. It wasn't the greatest ball to Konda, who then had to scurry out to the far side. He travels up to halfway. He's got cash in support just over the halfway line. Villa do lead by a goal to nil, scored by Yuri Tielemans, who is on the ball now, turning between 2 Fulham players and playing it down towards Watkins. Watkins has been released, but Leno is so quick off his line that he gets there just in time, right on the edge of the penalty area, almost touching the white line as he scoops the ball into his body with his gloves, and Watkins is denied.
Oh, so close. Brilliant from Tielemans, just to shift his body and the ball at the same time to give himself space to play that pass to Watkins, just slightly overhit. Watkins is a very nice person as well, because probably he could easily have gone sliding in, studs first, trying to claim that with Leno, and he just pulled out.
Well, you did say earlier that you two are very similar. You're both sensitive souls.
We are. But we both love scoring goals.
Yes,
so
that's
sometimes
true.
you have to
go for it. Leave a little bit in there if necessary. Here is Watkins trying to get the ball from John McGinn, who fired that at him. He couldn't get it under control. It's collected by Leno inside the penalty area, away to our left. 20 minutes gone. It's 1-0 to Aston Villa, live on Talksport this lunchtime. And so much going on around the grounds and up and down the country today. Don't forget that you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Arsenal versus Bournemouth, live today. Search Now Sports. Ball cleared away down the left-hand side on the thigh of Tete, forward towards the inside right position. Berger gets it back to Lukic, and Fulham start to build. It's been a busy old first 20 minutes or so here, and a busy 20 minutes in the Championship over on Talksport 2. Here is Bassi on to Anderson, then wide out towards the right, where it's collected now by Sessegnon. Sessegnon coming infield from the right touchline. Marco Silva in black trousers and a black jacket today, white shoes, just trying to impart a bit of wisdom onto his players from the touchline here inside the technical area. Ball collected far side by Iwobi. He's had such a great season, Alex Iwobi. Really good campaign. Scored a lot of goals, created a lot of goals this season, more than usual. Sessegnon going down the right, looking to take on Martson, who's back there. Rogers has doubled up on him. Tete trying to support, gets the ball square into Anderson, and then he swishes it into Lukic. Lukic far on the touchline as Fulham try to build and try to create something. They haven't tested Amy Martinez in the opening 21 minutes of the game, and that's, I think, credit to Aston Villa, who, a bit like they did away at Manchester City actually, just whenever they haven't got the ball, they can sit in their shape and then don't have to pressurise, don't have to push too far up the pitch, and make it very difficult for the opponents to break down. But that ball over the top has found Sessegnon, and Mutson's got to get back. Sessegnon has got in behind and then tucked it back towards Harry Wilson. The effort is blocked by Tielemans, and it's picked up by Martinez, but it had gone behind. It is going to be a Fulham corner.
Yeah, he's been their most dangerous player, Sessegnon. He's in good form as well, so he's confident. He's causing Martin quite a few issues with just spinning in behind and using his pace. And it's what Fulham like to do. They like to get the ball wide and get the ball into the penalty area for Jimenez whenever they can.
He does average a goal or assist every 69 minutes in the Premier League this season, Ryan Sessegnon. As the corner comes in from Wilson in towards the near post, it's flicked off the line and then half cleared, but drops inside the penalty area by the penalty spot, and Konsa has to whack it high up towards the halfway line. Wilson's got it back on the right side into Anderson. Anderson wants to play it down into the path of Ryan Sessegnon again, and from this right wing position he looks to try and attack Tielemans, who times his tackle beautifully and does brilliantly to poke it out to the far side. Martin gets hold of it, plays it against Kenny Tete. It's back in the arms of Aston Villa. Bristol City 0, Preston 0, Burnley 1, Millwall 1, Coventry 0, Middlesbrough 0, Derby 0, Stoke 0, Norwich 3, Cardiff down to 10 men 0, Plymouth 1, Leeds 0, unbelievable, Portsmouth 0, Hull 1, Sheffield United 0, Blackburn 0, Sunderland 0, QPR 1, Swansea 1, Oxford 0, Watford 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, and West Brom 1, Luton 1. What that means at this moment is that Burnley are going to win the title. Leeds will finish second if it stays as it is. Bristol City and Coventry will join Sunderland and Sheffield United in the playoffs, and relegation will be Luton, Plymouth and Cardiff. Ball cleared by goalkeeper Leno as the ball's played towards Watkins. It's high up towards Iwobi, but he's pushed off the ball by Matt Cash. Good defending by him, and the right back takes it into the right corner of the field and gets a round of applause from the appreciated Aston Villa support.
Yeah, he's just got the edge pace-wise, hasn't he, Matt Cash, against Iwobi, because he took it down beautifully on his thigh, but just then Cash, that extra bit of pace just helped him out. I think it's interesting that Aston Villa midfield, Yuri Tielemans has effectively come in to Aston Villa and taken John McGinn's role in that central midfield area. John McGinn now playing as one of the wider midfield players, and Yuri Tielemans has become that really important midfield player, the way he can link, the quality he shows, and whether it's goals or assists, he tends to have that attacking thought process.
He's registered a goal or assist in 6 of his last 8 games now in all competitions. He's a tempo setter, he is the orchestrator. He scored a really important goal earlier in the season that sparked a fight back against Arsenal from 2-0 down. And he is, if you speak to any of the Aston Villa supporters, they'll tell you he's been their most important player this campaign. He's not fast, he's not athletic or dynamic, but he is able to get around the pitch enough and set the tempo. He's got brilliant command of the football.
Yeah, he has. He's got great awareness in that midfield area as well, combined with a beautiful touch to keep the ball away from the opposition. But to sort of remove John McGinn from that area where he was so good, I think says everything about his performances consistently in that Aston Villa midfield.
25 gone. This is Talksport, live on a Saturday afternoon with Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton. We're live at Villa Park under what are now quite grey and groggy skies above our head after what's been a beautiful week. Ball crossed by Lukic into the penalty area. Jimenez looked a little bit ungainly there as the ball was played into him. He ended up giving it away. There's a chance to break here for Asensio over on the right hand side. He should have played it to Watkins down the left channel, but declined to do so. That's upset Unai Emery. Ball picked up by Tielemans, who runs forward now, plays it out wide into Rodgers. Rodgers left edge of the penalty area, taking on the Fulham defence. Sessegnon gets back at him. He comes infield, tries to do a little trick to go beyond Sessegnon, but Sessegnon does brilliantly, holds him up. Wilson has a chance to nab it, and then Jimenez drops deep, wins the ball, and the Mexican manages to find Sander Berge, who plays the ball with the outside of his right boot into the path of Iwobi, who scurries forward in from the left touchline now. He runs down the left and moves up towards the left angle of the penalty area before bringing Berge back into play. Berge plays it back out wide again, and now Iwobi will try and attack Cash for a second time. He's crossed this time, he's flipped into the near post, it's headed away by the retreating Konsa, and Aston Villa get it clear.
Yeah, they don't waste any time, Fulham. When they get it wide, they're looking to either combine and get the fullback to cross, or Iwobi then chops in and crosses. They're first for accurate crosses per match in the Premier League. It's something they love to do, and it was something they were doing for a good 10 minutes in the warm-up.
Watkins has made a run forward, but so has Rodgers, and Rodgers' cross midfield run from left to right is the one that's been picked out. He tried to poke that through to Watkins there, but Calvin Bassey with the brutish challenge. He timed that brilliantly. He might have hurt himself and Rogers there. Rogers has got back up, but it's Bassey who's gone down over on the far side. But that was a super challenge from Calvin Bassey, just in front of the penalty area, in a crucial one at a crucial time. There could be something crucial happening down at Ashton Gate. Lawrence Morat.
Bristol City 0, Preston 1, and it's Emil Rees who's got the goal for Preston. A corner from the right-hand side, swung into the 6-yard box. He was just stronger than everybody else and headed in from close range. The away fans going absolutely bonkers. Bristol City 0, Preston 1.
That would keep Preston safe, and it would mean that Coventry move up into 5th position, and Bristol City would be in a little bit of bother. You know, they're slightly worrying, looking over their shoulders at Millwall coming behind them. It would mean that Coventry, Bristol City, Millwall would all be on 67 points if it was to stay like this. But we know it ain't going to stay like this. There's still a long way to go in the EFL Championship, with so many teams looking to try and get into the playoffs and so many trying to avoid relegation today. If you want to listen to the full coverage, get our app, download it. It's brand new, it's been updated, looks swanky, and it's available via the Google Play or the Apple iOS App Store. And it gives you the chance to listen to podcasts, interact with some of the recent clips. You can see all Simon Jordan's best bits from different angles, I'm told. And you can also get all the podcasts on there as well, like Premier League All Access, which Dean and I do together on a regular basis.
We do.
Here is Yuri Tielemans moving down the left-hand side, feeding it into the path now of Ian Martson. Martson for Aston Villa, looking to go down the outside of Kenny Chetty, the right full-back for Fulham. He has to turn away from the Dutchman and then play it into Tielemans, who actually only found Sander Berger on the edge of the box, and he then scurries backwards and takes it away from Morgan Rogers, and eventually it comes out of play on this near side off of Martson. The two Dutchmen, Martson and Tete, going at one another, and the ball goes out on this near touchline. Harry Wilson got a little bit of a whack, I think, at the other end from Pau Torres, and is just gingerly getting back to his feet.
Yeah, he doesn't need another injury, does he, Harry Wilson? I think it's more of a kick than anything else.
Jimenez helping it on into the path of Cash, and then it goes all the way back to Emi Martinez, and he will clear it away. The oddest statistic that I stumbled across this week when researching this game was that Unai Emery's side have conceded from their opponent's first shot on target in 22 fixtures this season, and I think we've already spoken about the fact that Fulham hardly have had an opportunity at the other end, and that is a concern, I think, over the course of the season for Unai Emery, that sometimes they just sort of switch off, and then when they do that and the opponents get a first shot, they seem to almost always score. I don't know if that's a quirk or if that's something to do with a lapse of concentration. There's been a lapse of concentration at the game at the Hawthorns. Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Where it gets worse for Luton Town, it's West Bromwich Albion 2, Luton Town 1. It's Daryl DK with a header at the far post. Great play from Stiles down the left-hand side. Gets to DK, he nods it into the back of the net. Luton find themselves in the bottom 3. West Brom 2, Luton 1.
Mickey, you're not sitting next to Faker Others, are you?
I am indeed, yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'm dreading to look to my left-hand side.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it,
Get your headphones on.
I'm going to try.
She's not going to be in a good mood, I'm afraid.
Oh, dear.
Luton suffering at the moment. Looks like they could be relegated. They could be just the 4th team in Premier League history to be relegated from the Premier League, then the Championship, in successive seasons. That would be bad. Here is Harry Wilson picking the ball up over halfway and sending it wide out towards the right. Jimenez now getting into an advanced position, across into the box, steered away by Konza, picked up by Sander Berger. Played left to Calvin Bassey, who's now joining the Fulham attack. It goes back infield towards Berger again, and then Bassey once more. Aston Villa have just sort of sponged back into that shape, got to the edge of the penalty area, and then they look to try and pounce and win the ball, but Asensio can't do that. Left a bit of space for Iwobi, who had strayed into an offside position, and it is cleared away. It's 1-0 to Aston Villa, live on Talksport.
Yeah, and just looking at some of the Villa players, that response after the Crystal Palace defeat, obviously got themselves ahead through that Tielemans header. there is signs of fatigue, I think. Morgan Rogers is one. He's had such a wonderful season, but the amount of minutes he's played, never really taken off by his manager. It's just maybe he hasn't got that extra yard at the moment.
Ball forward by McGinn. It's deep into the penalty area. Watkins felt a touch from Robinson and went down very cheaply. Robinson wasn't happy. The referee was unmoved. Watkins gets back to his feet.
It is one of those where you obviously get a bump in the back, you go down, but it's not enough of anything for it to be anything.
Something's happening at the Hawthorns. Mickey Gray.
Oh dear, it's getting worse. West Bromwich Albion 3, Luton Town 1. Tom Fellows with his second goal of the game. Good play. Picked out Fellows on the far post with his right foot, dicked it over the top of Kaminski. Wow, this is tough for Luton now. West Brom 3, Luton 1.
Oh dear, they're going to need a unbelievable comeback to get the better of West Brom now. And they're going to find themselves dropping into that bottom three and staying there unless they can conjure up a miracle revival in the second half. They need a team talk of epic proportions. Here is Tete into Jimenez, who is fouled from behind by Pau Torres. Currently Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0 on Talksport. The latest odds come from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Aston Villa to win the game at 3-1 on. And they back the draw at 7-2. The Fulham victory is 8-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet on football accumulators, a £10 bet on football accumulators or bet builders this week. Opt in and a previous deposit is required. Minimum odds and T&Cs apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. This is Talksport.
And there's times and there's lulls for this Villa side and the supporters, isn't it? Playing the way that they do.
And Lukic delivers the ball towards the far post, looking for Jimenez, who slides in at that far post and tries to get contact on it, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick. It was a right-footed curler towards the edge of the 6-yard box that went behind, and it goes out for a goal kick for Aston Villa. But yeah, Fulham still yet to have a shot on target, and because of that statistic that I stumbled across this week, that would still concern me if I was an Aston Villa supporter.
Yeah, of course it would do. They've just allowed Fulham to have a bit of possession, build into the game. But it's more, I think, at times, Villa with a slow build-up, and then you think something's going to happen, and it turns around and it ends up at Martinez, and it just flattens the crowd slightly. I sensed it at Wembley as well, when the crowd are desperate for there to be momentum and energy in the performance.
Well, John McGinn has been pulled down by Kenny Tete. Kenny Tete's not happy. Harry Wilson's not happy. They've wrestled the ball away because they wanted to take it quickly. But there was definitely a foul by Tete on McGinn. He was going to have to give away a free kick. He's lucky not to get a yellow card himself again there. And Rob Jones being very generous, I think.
I mean, it should be a yellow card just for thinking you can get round the other side of John McGinn when he's holding the ball. He's probably the best in the world at it.
Yeah, and it's quite a way to travel, as he would say so himself.
Yes.
Here is Tielemans.
Got to use your strengths.
He's thick set, muscular, and very, very strong, and he's quite happy to use it, and he has done to great effect. 10 minutes to go before half time. Here is Konza trying to break the lines with a pass forward. He doesn't quite do that, but it ricochets kindly for Tielemans, who's played it left towards McGinn. Good tackle by Kenny Tete because it was going through towards the Scotsman. Picked up now by Martson. Infield to Kamara. Kamara lifting it over the top, looking to find Watkins. Might find Asensio. The two of them didn't know which one was going to go for it. In the end, it went through to Bent Leno.
I think the ball was just too straight. That's what it just didn't have the curl it needed to either make it to Asensio or Ollie Watkins, and just out of reach of either of them, who kind of looked at each other and just said, well, we're both in, it just needed to be a better ball.
Yep. Brilliant runs from both Asensio and from Ollie Watkins, and that's where they are dangerous, Aston Villa. They do breach the line very well, get in behind and cause trouble at their very best, and they have been at their best for a lot of this season. So many great performances. They need 4 really strong ones now to get over the line. And they lead here by a goal to 0. Watkins is coming forward, played in by McGinn down the left side of the attack. He's pushed wide by Tete, tries to take on the Dutchman, comes back in field now and sends it into Ian Martson. Martson keeps hold of it, goes back. They
retain possession rather than try to force the issue, Aston Villa. And we go into minute 37 here at Villa Park.
And that's just a little example, isn't it? You know, the crowds kind of get up and think you're in a promising position. It gets recycled all the way back to the centre-backs, and everyone sits back down in the seats again.
It's where they miss Rashford a little bit, because whereas Watkins will take the ball, then protect it and not take the risk of taking someone on and trying something maybe that is a gamble, sometimes that safety first option can be a little bit sort of not dispiriting, but it can mean that you don't get further in front, because Rashford might there have chased that straight into the box and then tried to take on the effort, whereas that didn't quite happen for Watkins, because he didn't have that same sort of risky nature and the preparedness to take a gamble.
No, plus also in his head he's thinking, you know, I want to lay this off and get in the box so it can be recycled for me to be in a position to score the goal.
They've won the ball high up again, and Rodgers is this time the one who's done it. Aston Villa come forward, Rodgers into the box now, lovely little bit of skill, tries to feather it through towards the far post, and Watkins not sure the ball was quite on there, because the gap between the retreating defence and Leno was too tight, and he would have needed to thread that through the eye of a needle. But that's a few times now they've won the ball back high up, and that's caused Fulham problems.
I mean, he's so good at that, Morgan Rodgers, when he gets the ball and he's almost slaloming in between defenders and just never looks like he's balanced, yet he's constantly got the ball. Defenders can't see which way he's going to go, and he's got the tricks and the flicks to go with it.
And Watkins there thought the ball was going to be played into his feet and actually tried to play it in front of him, and both of them, a little bit of miscommunication, ended up a little bit irate that it didn't work out for them. They played it forward towards Watkins, again in behind, and Leno has to come racing out, and this time outside of his penalty area and use his feet, and he does it successfully and gets the ball out towards the far side, picked up by Rodgers again. Aston Villa just starting to take control of the match even more so now, and just keeping the ball inside Fulham territory as we reach the last 5 minutes of the first half here on Talksport with Enterprise. Don't forget that whether you're on holiday, home or away this summer, Enterprise has locations all over Europe, and a vehicle that's just right for you. They've got a vehicle that's just right for me today, because I'm going to pick one up this afternoon. There's no trains going directly from Manchester to London tomorrow, so I've got an Enterprise rent-a-car tomorrow for my trip to Chelsea.
Lamborghini.
Not quite. Here on the right-hand side, Cash coming forward, moving up towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to take on Calvin Bassey. Does manage to turn the ball back in field. Again, it's just a little bit safe rather than too risky, and it goes back into midfield, and the momentum of the move sort of is lost once more, and they go back towards the halfway line.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on in what you say. It is safe. It's super safe in what they're doing.
That's not safe from Pau Torres. He's almost given the ball away to Harry Wilson, and then when he thought he might, he fouled him, and he's given away a free kick in a wide area.
Yeah. It's poor defending in the end there from Pau Torres. But also that safe option actually led to Leno being, you know, and being fantastic in terms of his anticipation. He can read it because it's slow and predictable. He can then read it and rush out and make those challenges when Watkins looks like he might be in. His concentration's excellent so far, Leno.
Let's hope that the Aston Villa concentration here is excellent, because otherwise Pau Torres is not going to be the most popular man in the dressing room at half-time, because, as I mentioned a couple of times, they haven't had a shot on target yet, Fulham, but they do have a free kick here right at the end of the first half. Marco Silva, who's done a great job with Fulham this season, hoping that they can get back on level terms before the break. It's 1-0 to Aston Villa. Aston Villa usually very good at defending set pieces. They do have a dedicated set piece coach. You might have seen him on your TV. He looks a little bit like a Viking. His name's Austin McPhee. Here is Lukic sending the ball in towards the near post. It was a poor delivery, headed away by the first man, John McGinn. Robinson forward. He's given it away to Martson. There was I think an offside flag that was going to go up anyway, but the foul has been given, and it's going to be a free kick to Aston Villa inside their own territory. This is Talksport, Saturday afternoon, a big day in the Championship today, where as things stand at this moment, The way things are going, Burnley are going to win the title. They have, at the moment, the way it stands, a 1-point advantage over Leeds United. Sheffield United and Sunderland will be joined in the playoffs by Coventry City and Bristol City. If that was to happen, what a job Frank Lampard has done at Coventry City. At the bottom of the table, Preston are going to save themselves, so are Hull and Luton are going to go down. Here's Tielemans towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Rodgers. It's cut out by Bassi, picked up by Kamara, and then they start to recycle it again, Aston Villa, in the midpoint of the Fulham half.
I think Unai Emery, he'll be frustrated with how sloppy Aston Villa have been just in those small moments that they've had in front of the Fulham defence. Too many loose touches or a loose pass that's just slowed that momentum.
Again, Konsa gets the ball, evades Jimenez with a lovely bit of skill, and then he just holds on to it. Here's Rodgers, who's always good at taking people on and being a little bit risky. Gets the ball to the edge of the area, can't find Maatsen. Picked up by Tielemans, who wins it back. Maatsen's got it left side. He's being bullied by Anderson, but he's got away from him. Then he's too quick and nifty and takes the ball out towards the touchline. He sends it back to McGinn now. On to Tielemans. Tielemans looks up. He's the one who can play a killer pass, but because of Asensio's role, which is essentially like a number 10 position, Tielemans is playing a little bit deeper, so he doesn't get that option very often to play those incisive balls.
Also, there hasn't been the room. Asensio's barely touched the ball because, you know, Fulham are able, because of how slow Aston Villa build, Fulham are able to just get in a great shape and flood that midfield area.
Fulham have won it high up over on the left-hand side with the Iwobi and Jimenez. They're up on the edge of the penalty area here, and Villa trying to get back into position. Jimenez with a shot. It's going to go miles wide, and Martinez knew that, so he just moved and stretched his arms wide and allowed the ball to go out of play and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. We've got 90 seconds of the first half remaining. You're listening to Talksport in the Premier League this Saturday lunchtime. Thank you very much for joining us. Later on today, more drama and developments on the final day of League One and League Two. Adrian Durham will be here with you from 2:30. Over at Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock, we've got Leicester versus Southampton. And at 5:30, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will take your calls and give you a chance to have your say on today's football. 037172233 and 444. That's the number to call. Oof. Free kick given on halfway, and that free kick is for Aston Villa.
I think the boos that we just heard was Robert Jones giving Tete a high five. But I think that's more a case of, look, you know, any more and it will be a yellow card.
Maybe, or maybe they've heard about something else, which we'll bring you updated on in just a second. Here's McGinn on the left-hand side, moving up towards the edge of the penalty area. A right-footed shot! Oh, it's only narrowly wide from Tielemans. He thinks that took a nick off the gloves of Bernd Leno and went round the post, but what an effort from Yuri Tielemans, who scored the first goal and almost had a spectacular second.
Well, when he picks up the ball in these sorts of positions, we know it. Every Aston Villa fan knows it, that he's got a magnificent strike. And that was arcing towards that top corner. And Leno with a lovely little cheeky smile to say, that was a magnificent save, but I'm not going to own up to it.
It was definitely a really good save. And he is cracking up away to our left-hand side, because he's got away with the fact that he hasn't got to give away the corner kick. I'll tell you that it's Coventry City 1, Middlesbrough 0. It's a massive goal in the race for the playoffs, because Coventry, through John Radoni, have gone in front against a team who also want to get into the playoffs. And at the CBS Arena, over on Talksport 2, they're going absolutely crackers, the Coventry fans, because they know that that gives them a massive, massive boost. They'll have 69 points if it stays that way. Frank Lampard's team lead by 1-0 over on Talksport 2. Sasa Lukic brushes Kamara off the ball. Kamara wins it back with a very well-timed tackle in the area, and then Tielemans gives it back to Iwobi on the left side of the box. His right-footed shot is on target, but it's saved by Emi Martinez.
It is. And that'll be it for the first half, Sam. It was a decent strike and a well-claimed save.
Well, Aston Villa know how crucial a win here is this lunchtime. They're on top of the break thanks to the goal from Yuri Tielemans from the corner inside the first 15 minutes of the game. Unai Emery's side of a great record here, and they're 45 minutes away from a streak of 17 Premier League home matches unbeaten. Villa 1, Fulham 0.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much. Yeah, the Villa and Fulham players are heading down into the tunnel now. Everyone's off for their half-time snacks. I'm having a cup of tea because it's a lot cooler than we thought it was going to be. On the pitch, a little bit cool as well. You sort of feel that whilst Aston Villa are on top, they're not really causing any real waves, and don't look, apart from that, or what would have been an audacious effort from Yuri Tielemans, apart from that, they're just lacking a bit of bite.
Yeah, they keep getting stuck in the same positions, which is, looking to go through the middle, in towards Asensio, in towards Rodgers, McGinn, Tielemans. They're all combining and trying to find that then killer pass into Watkins, but there just isn't the space. And Leno's been very, very good at just marshalling behind that defence like a security guard, just to make sure that that ball doesn't get through to Watkins when they finally make that pass. They haven't used the width enough. Cash, Martson haven't got into the game the way they probably should do with how much possession they've had, and so they've not been able to again have that sustained pressure on the Fulham goal.
Yeah, they haven't, and Fulham as well. You kind of feel that they need to give it more of a goal and take advantage of the sloppiness that we've seen from Villa at times.
Yeah, and they've just gone long too soon towards Jimenez. He's on his own against Torres and Consa, and they're hitting it aerially to him. I mean, even if he flicks it on, he's flicking it onto the other centre-back. He hasn't quite got the support. Wilson doesn't have the pace to get up there and support him. When they have got it wide, they've looked like they could create something with Sessegnon and Iwobi and Robinson, but they haven't done that enough.
Yeah, Sessegnon's clearly had the most chances as well. What about the fact that there is no Marcus Rashford today? All eyes on Ollie Watkins, although it is Tielemans who got the opening goal. Does he look a little bit nervy to you?
Slightly. I think you're right. You talk about Rashford. What he has given them is that width at times, that directness out wide. The other players that would give you that are sat on the bench. The Bailey and the Marlon of this Aston Villa squad that would give. So it's something that the manager sees, that he likes the inverted midfield players with McGinn and Rodgers, but it makes it so congested then if you don't have the fullbacks giving you the width.
Yeah, indeed. Well, looking at the Premier League table as it stands, Chelsea are in 5th place. They're occupying that final Champions League position as it stands, but they are level on points with Nottingham Forest and now Aston Villa, who would go up to 60. So it would be Chelsea, Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa all on 60 points in 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. So no change for Villa just yet, but they do have to just keep fighting and trying to get that victory. Do you think there are a bit of nerves just around the ground just because of what is at stake here?
I think the Villa fans are a little bit wounded themselves after what's happened in the Champions League and the FA Cup, and they're looking for a bit of inspiration themselves, I think, from the pitch. And I've seen it in a few performances when you get excited with an attack and then it gets recycled a lot with this Aston Villa team at the moment, and the crowd, you can sense that in
yeah,
there.
They're almost like, whoa, and then, oh.
Exactly. So, but they're winning the game, and at this stage of the season, that's all really that's going to matter.
That is absolutely all that matters, the fact that they are winning at the moment, and they're going to really be looking to continue in the same vein as the second half draws closer. Okay, that is what's happening here in the Premier League so far today, but it is a huge day in the Championship, of course, the final day of the season, so much still to be decided. So we just take a check on the scores at the moment. So over in Plymouth, it is Plymouth 1, Leeds 0. Plymouth quite likely to stay up actually, but they are currently going down by a point to Derby. But for Leeds, It was a Sam Byron own goal that gave Plymouth the lead. It is Plymouth 1, Leeds 0. Sam Byron in the 18th minute, which means that Leeds are currently second in the table. So it would be Burnley who steal that championship title. They're currently drawing with Burnley. It's currently Burnley 1, Millwall 1. So Millwall, as it stands, out of the playoffs on goal difference. They really would need that victory, wouldn't they? What about this huge game then? Coventry against Middlesbrough. It is currently Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0. Coventry in 5th. They're in the playoffs by just 2 points. Borough moved down to 10th on this, but if they get a victory and if they get a couple of goals in quick succession, it could be them in the playoffs and not Coventry. So a really huge one there. Bristol City 0, currently Preston 1. Bristol City are in the playoffs on goal difference, 3 goals better off than Millwall. Preston, of course, in 18th as it stands. Sheffield United 0, Blackburn 0. Sheffield United in 3rd, pretty much looking to consolidate that 3rd place. Blackburn, though, are in 8th, and a win would put them in the playoffs, although currently it is Portsmouth 0 and Hull 1. That is a massive goal for Hull, by the way. They're currently up to 19th. Pompey are in 16th. What about West Brom against Luton? Well, it is West Brom 3, Luton 1, and as it stands, Luton are currently going down. They need a win, as even a point would happen below Derby on goal difference. But if Luton go down today, it will be only the 4th time ever that a team has been relegated from the Premier League down to the 3rd tier in successive sessions. It's not a record they want to be bearing, but at the moment that's how it is looking. Elsewhere, it's a goalless between Derby and Stoke. Derby at this point are out of the bottom 3 by a point. Stoke are 1 point and a place above them. Currently Sunderland 0, QPR 1, Swansea 1, Oxford 1, Watford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, and Norwich 3, Cardiff City 0. Relegated Cardiff also down to 10 men after Callum Chambers was sent off when the score line was just 1-0. So it's not going very well for them on all counts. Okay, we're going to keep you up to date with everything that's happening in the Championship here on Talksport, whilst our extensive coverage continues over on Talksport 2, of course, and that includes exclusive commentary of Coventry against Middlesbrough. Here on Talksport, though, Aston Villa lead Fulham by a 1-0, and the second half is coming up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the Sky Sports Big Weekend with Premier League action and the WSL Manchester Derby. Available with no contract on now. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
A Minecraft movie has arrived at McDonald's Happy Meal. Help your little ones build their own adventure. Explore the overworld and meet exciting new friends. Some fun, some food. It's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 6th of May from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. While stocks last, fair ordering policy applies. See mcdonalds.co.uk/Happy Meal.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in as little as 20 minutes. You've finally found that perfect parking spot and you're ready to start work. But wait, you need a replacement part that's not in your van. Don't sweat it and don't move the van. Get moving on your job and we'll sprint over with exactly what you need before you can say, where's my spirit level? Screwfix Sprint delivers in as little as 20 minutes. Only $4.99 and only on the app. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
The best seat in the house is no longer in the house. It's outside with the sound of birds chirping overhead. The best table isn't in the house either, or pillow, or outdoor lighting, or sun lounger. But you knew that already. Visit IKEA online or in store to level up your outdoors this summer. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in and drink up. Village Hotels, 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
The season is shaping up, and whether they're going for glory or going down, it's all to play for. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in The Sun.
Today, Talksport gears up to bring you another blistering Premier League experience. And Betfair is here with all the latest odds and form.
Blast it into the back of the net.
Get all the fever pitch build-up and exclusive live commentary.
Cross, header in!
This Saturday on Game Day on Talksport with Betfair.
And he scored!
Don't forget, Betfair are paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Applies to match odds, 90 market sportsbook exclusive. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Fired up and raring to go.
He's done it again!
Game day.
The games, the goals, the glory.
How about that?
Game day exclusive
On Talksport.
You're listening to Game Day Exclusive. I'm Reshman Chowdhury live from Villa Park for our live and exclusive Premier League commentary match where it is currently Aston Villa 1. I forgot. I was about to say Sheffield United because I was looking at something with the Championship. Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0. And we're going to get the latest now from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on football hackers or bet builders this week. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Yeah, it's not Aston Villa against Sheffield United, although it might be next season. It's Aston Villa against Fulham. And whilst Aston Villa do have the advantage with that 1-goal lead, it's a game where no one's really taken their chances. And I wonder where that leaves the odds, Joe Dyer from Betfair.
Hello, yes, the odds are that it's 7-2 on, so 2-7 that Villa go on to get that win. Fulham or Sheffield United, they're 11-1, and the draw is 7-2. Yep, so plenty in it, you never know. Fulham might just reward at those big odds.
They might do indeed. And what about Sam's charity bet? What was it, 500 and something, potentially? So
yeah,
what are we looking at?
Yeah. So it's a treble, a bet builder involving Villa to win. So that leg is looking good at the moment, but we need a couple of Villa players to get involved. So we need that booking for Kamara.
And we need Watkins to score, don't we? Yeah.
Watkins to score, yeah. He looked lively though, doesn't he? So you'd give it a squeak. So we
need Rob Jones to stop being so generous and get some cards out.
Yeah, there's a penalty shout there, wasn't there, as well? That would have been.
I'm joking. I don't mean Sam needs to go and have a word because that would just be totally wrong. But yeah, we do need a few more things to land for that charity bet. Joe Dyer from Betfair, thank you very much indeed. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, do go to betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. And make sure you check out begambleaware.org.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on football hackers or bet builders this week. Opt-in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the ground with all the goals as they go in the Premier League and Leagues 1 and 2 as they conclude for the day. He's at Huddersfield as they host Leyton Orient in League 1 as the O's look to confirm their playoff place. They're currently above Reading on goal difference. Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Just the nerves are just about hanging on after that the first half. I've been listening to you and checking in on what's happening in the Championship. It's thrilling, no doubt about it. And there's more to come in League 1, League 2. It's final day of their seasons. All kick off at 3 o'clock and we're around the grounds, all the goals.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be covering all of that. And as you say, with the Championship, because that is going to be all over in the next, 45 minutes. But in the next 45 minutes, we will know who's coming up and who's going in the playoffs and who's going down as well. Is there a more thrilling league? I mean, I know I'm doing Premier League here, but is there anything more thrilling than the Championship season?
It's amazing, and when you consider the Luton situation where they are, as it stands, going down,
so sorry for them.
it's just phenomenal to even think about that. So the Championship is utterly ridiculous, and the fact that it comes down to the next 45 minutes and a goal here and an own goal there or a decision there can absolutely determine whether your season was a good one or not so good one is amazing, and similar to coming League 1, League 2, playoff places, relegation places, etc.
Absolutely right. And I've just got to ask you very quickly though, what are you most looking out for in Leagues 1 and 2? What are the big ones?
League 1, I'm at Huddersfield. Orient need to win to seal a playoff place. If not, Reading can steal in and get that. In League 2, we've got the title to play for, Doncaster or Port Vale. There's one automatic place, Bradford, Walsall, Notts County up for that. 2 playoff places as well, so all to play for this afternoon.
Absolutely right. Adrian Durham, thank you very much. Adrian Durham will be taking over after we finish our coverage of this live exclusive game on Talksport. It is Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0, currently in the second half, about to kick off, so I'll hand you back to Dean and to Sam.
Well, Aston Villa's recent record against Fulham is almost perfect. They've won the last 4 against them. They've only lost 1 of the last 7, but Aston Villa will have to be cautious because Fulham's second half record on the road is the 4th best in the division, and they do tend to turn up in big games against Aston Villa, as we mentioned in the first half, Dean Ashton.
They do, and under Marco Silva and the club have bolstered that squad, so there are options. There are exciting options as well from the bench, including Willian, Smith Rowe and Adama Traore and Kearney, so attacking options for Marco Silva to change things in the second half of games.
Yeah, and listening to Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi yesterday with Troy on our show and today as well, the suggestion was that they made wrong choices or made mistakes in key moments, and they might be making one here as Cash's escape into the penalty area. It's missed by Watkins, goes all the way through towards McGinn, and after Watkins missed his first effort, he completely miskicked the ball actually as it came across from Cash. John McGinn's recycled ball is shepherded out, and it goes out for a goal kick to Fulham, but that's a major let-off for Fulham.
Yeah, not good enough from Ollie Watkins in that position. Brilliant from Cash, whips it across, just says go on, tap it in, and he just misses it. You can't miss it at this level, Ollie. You can't. He just takes his eye off it.
Has he been affected by the fact that he's been dropped for those big games?
Possibly, because he feels like every time he plays now, the pressure's on for him to score, to do something in the game. But still, there's no excuse. There's just no excuse for that. The ball's come across, he sees it all the way, he just completely misses it. Not acceptable at this level.
No changes at half-time for either of these two teams. So Martinez is the Aston Villa goalkeeper, and the back 4 is Cash, Konza, Torres and Maatsen. It's McGinn, Tielemans and Kamara in midfield, with Rodgers, Watkins and Asensio going forward. Fulham have got Leno in goal, Tete, Anderson, Bassey and Robinson, Berger and Lukic holding, with Iwobi floating towards the left, Wilson sort of close to the right-hand side, playing almost as a number 10 off of Jimenez, and Sessegnon on the right-hand side. Ball is out of play, left-hand side, with Aston Villa's Ian Maatsen, who just couldn't quite get the return from Tielemans. It runs out of play and goes out for a throw-in. Aston Villa, who are trying to bolster their income ahead of possibly another jaunt in the Champions League. They'll probably need to win most of their games between now and the end of the season to get there, but they're doing that by trying to host a number of key concerts in the summer and other things too. Here is Tete, edge of the area, looking for Lukic for Fulham as he sends the ball into the box. It's taken down by Maatsen and sent away over on the far side. A foul by Sessegnon goes unpunished. Referee says play on. Sessegnon tucks it infield, finds Harry Wilson 10 yards short of the area. Then Iwobi in the 10 position gives it back to Sessegnon, who tries to bundle his way through, stopped by Tielemans, but his clearance bounces to Tete, whose cross is aimed towards Jimenez, who heads it down. It comes to Lukic, who's arriving. They only half clear it, Villa. Eventually it's cleared by Tielemans and out to the far side and cleared away by McGinn. McGinn picks it up, looks forward, needs to release it quickly. They don't do that. They give it back to Tielemans, who sends a long high ball out to Watkins. Watkins brings it down, needs support. Rodgers provides it, runs towards the edge of the penalty area, isolates Robinson, comes on the inside, left-footed shot, takes a deflection, goes behind.
Yeah, good running from Ollie Watkins. Lovely little spin away from Bassey down the right-hand side channel. Fed it back towards Rodgers, who just tried to shift it onto his left foot and curl it into that far corner. Robinson just stepped across to to make sure that he got a block that took it behind, and there was a good block at the other end as well. As Lukic looked as if he was going to strike towards goal, and Konsa came across brilliantly.
Corner kick over on the far side to be taken by John McGinn. Left-footed short one to Asensio, then to Tielemans. Tielemans gives straight at Lukic. It's another set piece which has just been completely wasted by Aston Villa, and they go all the way back to Martinez, who hoiks it forward, away by Berger, chested down by Lukic, won by Kamara. He thrusts it forward and it goes into the arms away to our right of goalkeeper Bernd Leno. Guns N' Roses playing here in the summer, Kendrick Lamar playing here in the summer, and Ozzy Osbourne is getting the band back together as well. What one will have you queuing outside the Villa Park ticket office?
Guns N' Roses for me, Axel, all day.
There you go. Paradise City. What's your favourite one?
Sweet Child of Man.
Of course. Here is Konsa on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's cleared away over towards the left-hand side. A good sort of wrestling match between him and Iwobi, but Iwobi comes out on top and then gets the ball immediately into the centre. Lukic is arriving, so is it's a handball by Sessegnon, edge of the box. He has scored, he's brought it down, put it into the far corner. He runs away in celebration, but that's not going to count. It was a handball. It's pretty clear that there was a handball. And if you are the goal scorer and in the immediate action prior to scoring a goal, you use your hand, it is going to be ruled out, and they're checking it, but I don't think it's even up for debate.
No, I feel as if every single person in the ground thought it was a handball, and everybody stopped other than Sessegnon, who put the ball in the back of the net, which he should do, just in case the equipment doesn't work and nobody can see a replay.
Or unless there was 47,000 people who just closed their eyes at that moment. Yeah, there's no way that that's going to be allowed. And it's not 1-1. But I can't work out, actually, the referee immediately disallowed it, but now they're checking the fact that it has been disallowed. And, I mean, that's now just been overruled. It took a very long time to check something that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it controlled it with his hand and then struck straight into the bottom corner.
Very strange that it took so long. Anyway, it's still 1-0. But it is a little bit of a warning, that, for Aston Villa.
Well, the start to this second half has been a warning. Fulham, Marco Silva probably saying we were too safe, probably a little bit, in our approach in that first half also.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it from them. And here is McGinn turning and firing the ball out wide towards the left. It's collected by Martson, and then, well, that looked like Kenny Tete was bringing down John McGinn, even though he was running away from goal, and he's going to get a yellow card as a result of that. He was running towards the left corner flag, really, looking for the return. Tete brought him down, and he's given away a free kick in a dangerous position, and he's picked up a booking.
Yeah, no high five this time. Rob Jones, yellow card out for Kenny Tete. Brilliant from McGinn. First of all, he twisted away from Tete in the midfield area, fed it out wide, and then carried on his run. Tete doesn't make a challenge, but the fact that McGinn runs right across him and it clips his heels was always going to get that yellow card.
So set pieces have been a real disappointment apart from the first goal for Aston Villa. They've wasted so many today. Can they make the most of another one here and put themselves in a better position? They lead by 1-0. It would just relieve a little bit of the tension that was experienced at half-time, where some of the Villa fans thought that they'd just taken their foot off the gas and were a little bit too safe and risk-averse. Tielemans has his left hand in the air. The free kick is the left side of the penalty area. It's a right-footed delivery. It's a poor one, and it's cleared away.
Oh, it's a who's who of woeful set plays. McGinn's had a few, Tielemans has had a few, Wilson's had a few.
Cash into Asensio. Good touch by Tielemans to set up the move. He's crossed this time. He's better. In towards the 6-yard box, away by Antti Robinson, and then half cleared by Sander Berg. He's then stopped by McGinn. The ball runs loose in midfield. It's tidied up by Ezri Konza. He picks it up, but he's charged off the ball by Jimenez. It goes out wide towards Iwobi, who quickly gets it forward towards Wilson, who's in behind. He tries to steer it over the top of the goalkeeper with his first touch, but he didn't get enough contact on it, so let's go off to Alan Biggs.
Sheffield United 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. The goal from Yuki Ohashi, left-footed, close range, 9th of the season. At this moment, Blackburn, as a result, are in the playoffs. Sheffield United 0, Blackburn 1.
Blackburn move up into 6th position above Bristol City, who are trailing at this moment. Coventry and Blackburn are now going to the playoffs as it stands, with Leeds and Burnley swapping places from this morning. Burnley are going to win the title with the scoreline as it stands down at Home Park. And at the bottom of the table, Luton, dismal day for them, losing away at West Brom. They're going down with Plymouth and Cardiff to League One. Here it's 1-0 to Aston Villa. Ball collected by McGinn. That was a big chance for Harry Wilson.
Brilliant chance, wasn't it? He just had to try and control it as it was played through from Iwobi. Superb pass, but it bounces in front of Wilson. He just sees Martinez off his line and thinks, I'll just try and cushion this over the top of him. Didn't get enough on it as he was stretching as well.
Tielemans coming forward, plays it further to the right, and Kamara. Back in field it goes, where it's collected now by Marco Asensio. 1-0 to Aston Villa, 55 on the clock. Tielemans clips it forward, out towards the right. A little bit ambitious for Cash, but a lovely touch by him, keeps it in. He then tries to return the cross into the centre. It's blocked by Robinson, goes out. Down by the corner flag. I'm not sure if that's a throw-in or a corner. I think it's going to be a throw-in. Just in from the corner flag. And Aston Villa have possession again.
I mean, I have to just say, looking at the touchline, he almost got a fire extinguisher out for Unai Emery. He was on fire. He was that fuming. Honestly, gave Konsa 3 or 4 verbals. Konsa just gave him sort of flung his hand up in the air just to sort of say, we've got it. But he was so annoyed.
They'll be a little bit relieved here that, again, after sort of throwing the ball in from the right-hand side, they don't look like they're getting to get the ball in the box, Aston Villa, ever. And then they've won a free kick because of a silly foul on this near touchline by Lukic, who sometimes can be just a little bit over-aggressive. And the free kick has been given, and they're going to take it from the near touchline. Tielemans is talking to McGinn. The set-piece coach has said, get the ball in. I think he just said, get it in the box. He's saying to Tielemans, get in the box yourself and let McGinn take it. Yeah, it's going to be McGinn who takes it.
He's slapping his forehead. They're saying, get it in the box and let someone head it in.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the delivery's just been so poor from wide set pieces, apart from the goal, which was McGinn into Tielemans. Let's see if they can find that route again, because Tielemans has trotted into the 18-yard box in front of the Holt's end. And this free kick about 6 yards in from the right touchline, away on the near side as we look at it. It'll be a left-footed delivery by McGinn towards the far post. It's too heavy, goes over everyone's head and goes straight out of play.
Well, as always, the set plays are only as good as the deliveries. McGinn's for the goal was outstanding. We just haven't seen enough from the others.
Well, I think Marco Silva's seen enough. He's going to make a change here, and he's going to bring on Emile Smith-Rowe and take off Ryan Sessegnon. I thought Ryan Sessegnon had a brilliant first 45 minutes.
Well, Ryan Sessegnon's reaction is similar to, I think, our reactions. I thought he's been probably their most dangerous player, actually, threatening in behind, and obviously had the goal disallowed, but it was a decent strike. And Wilson will go out to the right-hand side, Iwobi into the 10, and Smith-Rowe on this left-hand side.
So it looks like. Let's see what happens. Smith-Rowe, who has 8 Premier League goal involvements this season, only 3 in his previous 2 seasons combined. He hasn't been 100% whilst he's been at Fulham, but he's certainly shown flashes of the kind of talent that we could see. Here is Jimenez down this left-hand side. The ball played against Cash goes out of play. Let's get off to Fratton Park. There's been another goal for Talksport's Alex Crook.
And Hull are back in danger. Portsmouth 1, Hull 1. 10 minutes into the second half. It's a rasping right foot shot from substitute Christian Sadie into the far corner from a tight angle. As it stands, a point would keep Hull up. If they lose, they're dropping into League One. Portsmouth 1, Hull 1.
So Luton fans have now become Portsmouth fans, that's for sure, because as it stands at the moment, Hull out of the relegation zone, only on goal difference. If they were to concede now, they would go down and Luton would pop out of that relegation department, which at the moment they've occupied pretty much since we started. Here's the cross from the right-hand side in towards the near post by Fulham's Kenny Tete. It's blocked by Martson, goes out for a corner.
Yeah, it was good from Wilson, just a little reverse into Sanderberg, back out to Tete, release the fullbacks, which Fulham like to do. And they're looking to cross early. Sessegnon finally trotting back. He's not happy.
He's just having a word with Harrison Reed as the corner comes in towards the midpoint of the 6-yard box. It's collected by Emi Martinez, who immediately wants to dispatch it forward. He has done that. He's given it to Morgan Rogers, who's got green grass to run into. He's being chased by Calvin Bassey. He then just basically gets kicked by Calvin Bassey, who just holds him up, turns around and just swipes his legs away and says, "Yeah, I'll take the yellow card."
That was some chop from Morgan Rogers. The Cruyff chop away from Calvin Bassey was just brilliant. He almost bounced it over Bassey's foot, the way he chopped it into the floor and then up and over Bassey's foot to take the foul. Brilliant.
I don't think Bassey liked it and reacted as such. Going to be some changes here. Jacob Ramsey's about to come on, and Amadou Onana for Aston Villa. Interesting to see what the changes are. I actually just thought to myself, I bet it's Asensio comes off. And it is Asensio. He hasn't really got into the game. In fact, the last 3 Aston Villa games that I've been at, he hasn't got into them.
I've only just realised he was playing. He just hasn't affected the game whatsoever, which in his position is not good enough.
And the other change, Amadou Onana on for Asensio and McGinn for Ramsey. And McGinn gets a good round of applause as Onana comes on. Onana will give them, especially at set pieces, height and physicality. All they've got to do now is find someone who can put the ball in the box.
And they've taken McGinn off. But what it does do is it frees up Yuri Tielemans into a more advanced area.
Goal from Mickey Gray at the Hawthorns.
Well, you feel it was all over here, Sam. It's West Bromwich Albion 4, Luton Town 1, a mountain to climb for the away side if they're going to get out of that bottom 3. The ball's come in. The ball from Callum Stiles has found its way into the back of the net. Wow. West Bromwich Albion 4, Luton Town 1.
Watkins against the goalkeeper, shoots and saved by Leno. He was played in by Rogers, a delectable ball that was won on this near touchline. He went racing away from Bassey, who couldn't tackle him because he knew he'd just been booked for doing so. And then Watkins was sent away, and Watkins sent it straight at the goalkeeper. Missed opportunity.
Well, it's a classic opportunity for Watkins. We've seen him get into these positions so many times. It was magnificent from Rogers to play that early pass, to give him the green grass to run into, the pace that he used against Anderson, got himself set, hit it low towards Leno's feet, and it was saved. Rather than finding the corner, he should have scored.
Ramsey picks the ball up, plays it against Sanderberg when he was trying to squeeze it out to Martson. Eventually comes through to him, takes a deflection as he crosses it into the near post and goes out for another corner over on the far side. Talksport, Saturday afternoon. The huge games in the Championship still continue. At this moment, Coventry are going to the playoffs. They're not the only ones that are going to the playoffs as well. They're going there with Sunderland, Sheffield United and possibly Bristol City. Alan Biggs.
It's Sheffield United 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Blackburn were in the playoff. Now as it stands, they're back just outside it, and El Ahmed Hodzic has put Sheffield United level. Sheffield United 1, Blackburn 1.
Corner over on the far side, which will be taken in towards the near post. It's headed away by Anthony Robinson, but only as far as the edge of the penalty area, where it's retrieved by Ian Martson. Out on the left-hand side, Ramsey picks the ball up, sends it back for Martson. Martson inside the area, it's fired it over the top of the crossbar. Well, that's another opportunity for Aston Villa, and another one that's gone begging
They got down the left side of the box, cut it back to Martson, who's just inside the area on the left-hand side, but he's opened up his foot and he's leant back and it's gone way over the top.
Yeah, they worked that nicely, actually. Overloaded 3 against 2 from the corner and then found Martson. And you're right, he just rushed it. Rather than having the right footwork towards the ball, it was rushed. The last 3 steps were rushed. And then he overstretched, and then he wasn't balanced, and then you can't get the right strike that you want on it.
Here it's 1-0 to Aston Villa going into the final 25 minutes of the game on Talksport 2 this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We've got live commentary of Leicester against Southampton. And Joe Shannon is your commentator with the team news.
Thank you, Sam. 5 changes for Leicester from the defeat at Wolves. Skip, Ayew, Justin, McAteer and goalkeeper Stelacic all come in. Hermanson, Ricardo, Soumare, Buonanotte and De Cordova-Reid drop out. Southampton, meanwhile, unchanged after being beaten by Fulham.
Thank you very much. Talksport 2 for that this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Joe Shannon on commentary as we bring you the Premier League again live on Talksport. Here's Smith Rowe down the left-hand side. Big goal at Ashton Gate. Talksport's Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 0, Preston 2. It's Osmajic who's broken the offside trap here, rolled the ball through Max O'Leary's legs to give his side a 2-0 lead. Wild celebrations from the Preston fans. They were threatened with relegation, but as things stand, they're staying up. But for Bristol City, it is an absolute dagger to the heart of their playoff hopes. 62 gone, Bristol City 0, Preston 2.
Well, it isn't, because at the moment, because of the Blackburn result and the Millwall result elsewhere today, Bristol City just sneaking into the playoffs. Coventry City and Bristol City will be joining Sunderland and Sheffield United as it stands in those playoffs at the moment. They're getting in despite the fact they're being beaten by Preston. Luton needed to win to guarantee at least that they could dictate their own future, but they're not winning. They're getting absolutely battered, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, they are. West Bromwich Albion 5, Luton Town 1. It's like they've given up this afternoon, Sam, it really is. But it's come from Callum Stiles, his second goal of the afternoon from outside of the area. 25-yard strike with his left foot low into the bottom corner. Luton need more than a miracle. West Bromwich Albion 5, Luton Town 1.
Yuri Tielemans has just charged down the right-hand side. He's drawn a foul from Calvin Bassey. Bassey has brought him down. He engendered the foul because he didn't have the pace to get away from Bassey. But Bassey is on a yellow card. Everyone knows it, and he's very lucky.
But you've just made the point. Tielemans created the contact by stepping across. It wasn't that Bassey made a challenge, so yes, it ended up being a foul, but certainly not a second yellow.
Team news from Matt Jones at Goodison.
2 changes for Everton from their defeat to Chelsea. McNeil's back for his first start since December after injury, and Alcaraz comes in too as Harrison and Decore drop out. As for Ipswich, Ben Johnson suspended and Jack Clark's on the bench. They're replaced by Chaplin and Hutchinson. It's Everton against Ipswich at Goodison.
Yellow card for Sander Berger, who trips Yuri Tielemans in the middle of the park. They have another set piece, 10 yards inside Fulham territory, and a chance to maybe try and create something. On comes Timothy Castagna for Fulham. Interesting move. I think probably be a like for like with Kenny Tete, will it? Going to make a change now. Yeah, it's going to be Kenny Tete off and Castagna on, and Adama Traore coming on 2 for Fulham.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it, when Tete's on a yellow card. Still only the 1 goal in it. And then Adama Traore, we all love to watch him when he gets the ball and use that pace and dribbling ability.
Harry Wilson is the one coming off, and on comes Adama Traore, who is a former Aston Villa player, of course. Not for very long, but he was a former Aston Villa player on loan from Barcelona, I think. You forget that, actually. He's been at Middlesbrough, Barcelona, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and now Fulham.
Yeah.
He's been around for a very long time, and he's only 29. Unai Emery just giving a few words of wisdom to Luca Dino, I think we're going to see very shortly here. And Daniel Marlon as well, as the ball's elevated into the Fulham box. It's headed away by Robinson, but not a very good header. He sort of almost headed it across the face of his own goal. Well won by Onana, who then I think was brought down by Raul Jimenez.
And this is only 5 yards back from the edge of the box, and Amadou Onana just sort of tries to get a little bit more out of the crowd behind the goal away to our right. And another thing that I noticed today really is there's a little bit of tentativeness about the crowd as well. They're not as loud and as vociferous as they have been on some nights and days that we've had here so far this season. I think that's because they know the jeopardy involved between now and the end of the season of them getting into the Champions League.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, they're a bit low, aren't they, after what happened last weekend? But Onana just giving a little nod to the crowd and then responding.
Bournemouth at home next for Aston Villa, Tottenham Hotspur, and then Manchester United. Sorry, Bournemouth away and then Tottenham Hotspur at home. Manchester United away. We've got a free kick here on the edge of the penalty area, which is going to be taken by Yuri Tielemans, who's standing over it. Martson is there as well. There's a 5-man Fulham wall and then a 3-man Aston Villa wall just in front of that. It's at an angle of around about 50 degrees. He steps up, sends it into the box. Again, I mean, they're just trying to be too clever. He sort of just played it past it, 5 yards in front of him, straight at the base of the wall, and it's cleared away by Fulham. And it's another poor decision by Aston Villa in a set-piece situation. That's better from Rodgers, down the right side, crosses the ball, away by Bassi, comes out on the edge of the area. Kamara gets there. There's been a goal, a massive game at the top of the Championship. Chris Hull.
67 minutes gone. Burnley 2, Millwall 1, and Jadon Anthony, who could have had a hat-trick for the Clarets today, finally gets his goal, right-footed, curling into the far corner, past George Evans. At this moment in time, Burnley are heading for the Football League title, and Millwall are missing out. Burnley 2, Millwall 1.
Break down the left-hand side by Aston Villa. Ramsey on to Watkins, back to Ramsey, who's crossed across the 6-yard box, bounded and bounced through everyone, and came through at the far post to that deadly finisher, Pau Torres, who I think didn't know what to do.
No.
So just sort of passed it out.
Ended up controlling it out of play rather than just trying to hook his foot around, put it into the back of the net. But it was good from Watkins. Ramsey with the run, ball into the box, but Watkins now coming off. He'll be disappointed. He had his opportunities. The pressure's on him though.
Yeah, well, he hasn't delivered today. That's been a big problem. So they brought on Daniel Marlon instead, and Luca Dean on as well for Ian Martson. There's been a goal for Mickey Gray.
Yeah, well, is the comeback on, Sam? It's West Bromwich Albion 5, Luton Town 2. It's come from Jordan Clark, a wonderful left foot curler into the top corner, but they're still chasing a lot of goals in this game if they're going to get out the bottom three. West Bromwich Albion 5, Luton Town 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're more likely now just to be hoping and praying that Portsmouth do them a favour down at Fratton Park and hope that Portsmouth can score for them and knock Hull into those relegation places. But at the moment, Luton, Plymouth, Cardiff going down from the EFL Championship, and Bristol City and Coventry joining Sunderland and Sheffield United in the playoffs, and Burnley going to win the title with 100 points. Here is Cash right side into Rodgers, then on to Tielemans, then back to Cash again. It's cleared away by Calvin Bassey, picked up by Kamara. Now Kamara's got it once more. He moves down the right side into Rodgers. Rodgers again in towards Onana. Onana, good passing this on to Ramsey. Ramsey to strike, takes a deflection, might bounce kindly for Rodgers, who ends up trying to guide it past the defender Robinson, then goes down. Robinson tries to bring it clear. He successfully does that. And Aston Villa end up ceding possession and ceding a bit of ground to Fulham, who come up the pitch and then back into their own half, giving themselves a little bit of pressure, but they work their way out towards the far side. There's been another goal for Lawrence Moore at Ashton Gate.
Bristol City 1, Preston 2, Ross McCrory, back post from George Airthie's cross, nodding it home, and the Ashton Gate crowd now are back on their feet. Look, that goal to Sheffield United got them back in the playoffs, and now they've given themselves a lifeline. Bristol City 1, Preston 2.
Bristol City unbeaten in 7 games at Ashton Gate. They know that they need to win to guarantee a playoff place. Preston are fighting relegation, and they too need the points. At the moment, the way it's gone, because of results elsewhere, Bristol City and Coventry are the ones in the playoff places, but Blackburn Rovers, who were leading, have been pegged back by Sheffield United. As a result of that, we're in a situation where Bristol City is still sneaking in despite losing at home to Preston.
I was filling my car up with petrol earlier today at a service station on the I think it was the M6 actually, and I bumped into a guy who was on his way to that Bristol City game, big Bristol City fan. He was very nervous. It seems like he's had every right to be. Ball's gone out of play away to our left-hand side, and Aston Villa have a goal kick after a brief Fulham attack, and there haven't been many of those in the second half. It has been all Aston Villa, Dean, but they haven't pressed home their advantage.
No, that was a massive chance, wasn't it, for Watkins that he didn't take, and then Torres there could have hooked it in, and that second goal would just be so vital for Aston Villa, for this crowd, because they have been the better side. You know, Fulham haven't, I don't think, shown enough cutting edge for sure.
17 minutes to go here, and it's Talksport. Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0. Latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Villa to win at 4-1 on. The draw is 4-1. Fulham to come back and win is 20-1. That's all thanks to Betfair, where you can get a £10 bet when you bet £10 on football accumulators or bet builders this week. Opt in and previous deposit required. Minimum odds and T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Talksport. And Willian over on the far side about to come on. So is Harrison Reed to try and push Aston Villa as we get towards the end of this. Not a European decider, but certainly it's a decisive game in the hunt for Europe for Aston Villa. If they want to get in the Champions League, they've got to win games like this. There's a handball by Calvin Bassey. That is a handball by Calvin Bassey, and I tell you what, he's a little bit lucky here that he's not going to get himself in further trouble.
No, he's actually got the free kick, because he was fouled to start with by Kamara, then he handballed it. Well, initially I think he thought that could have been it, but actually Rob Jones went, I'm going to give the foul against you.
He was a little bit fortunate there, I think. I don't know why, even if he felt he was fouled, he decided to put his arm out like that, because he's running the risk of causing himself serious grief. Let's do a couple of substitutions here. Sander Berg coming off, and on comes Willian. Reed coming on as well. Iwobi has come off, and let's go off to Ollie Klink, who can quickly give us Reading team news in the game at Barnsley.
Yeah, Reading need to better Leyton Orient's result in order to sneak into the League One playoffs. They're unchanged from their win over Bristol Rovers. Barnsley make 2 changes. Out come McCartan Phillips, in come Humphreys and Roberts. It's Reading against Barnsley.
Reading have already had a good day with news that they're going to be taken over. Here is Reed, right-footed ball into the box. His first touch is a free kick, which is poor, so he's settled into the game nicely. Williams picked it up. He's returned the ball back into the area. It's gone to the far edge of the box, and it goes out the other side. It's picked up by Traore. Traore trying to jink his way into the box, gets onto his left foot, delivers a lovely cross into the box. It comes towards Jimenez. It's away by Cash, struck by Anderson, and away by Tielemans, who are inside the box. And there was a real issue there for Aston Villa. That ball back in by Adama Traore caused all sorts of issues.
I mean, Cash, brave, so brave in making this block and getting hurt. But the ball in from Adama Traore was teasing towards the 6-yard line. Martinez can't come for it. Bassey goes up and misses it. It hits Jimenez because he can't see it behind Bassey, and he couldn't quite then get on the end of it. But then when it fell, Cash was brilliant. He just jumped away from Jimenez, flew into block, and I think it was Anderson who really went to strike it, but the follow-through then caught Cash right on the shin.
It really did, didn't it? It was a horrible connection. Big games today in League 1 and League 2 as the season comes to its conclusion. Adrian Durham takes you round the grounds from 2:30 as soon as we finish here. That includes what happens with Leyton Orient, who are in action at 3 o'clock, and the team news come from Steve Hopperthorne.
Yeah, confidence high for Orient. They're in the final playoff space at the moment. Richie Wellens puts the same team out that beat Wickham. Huddersfield fans will give a rousing send-off to captain Jonathan Hogg, who makes his 410th and final appearance. It's Huddersfield against Leyton Orient.
That geezer was filling his car up with petrol at the station that I was at earlier on with his Bristol City away shirt on. He's going to be delighted, Lawrence Mora.
Bristol City 2, 2, Preston 2, and it's Ross McCrory at the double as the Ashton Gate South Stand bounces around. A defence-splitting ball by Williams. McCrory finished with aplomb, and all of a sudden, with 15 minutes to go, Bristol City's playoff hopes are right back on. It's Bristol City 2, Preston 2.
Notts County have got an outside chance of finishing in the automatic promotion places. Doncaster need to win for the title. Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, it could be double bubble here for these two. Doncaster unchanged after they won promotion last weekend. County one change. Charlie Whittaker for David McGoldrick. We start here at 3.
What a busy old day we've got up and down the country in the EFL Championship, across League 1 and League 2 and in the Premier League as well. Crewe 12th, don't worry about what they're up to, but do worry about Walsall, who had everything in their own hands, but they need a win if they're going to have any chance of finishing in 3rd position, which would have seemed unthinkable 13 games ago, but they haven't won for 13 games, Dave Bro.
Yeah, desperate to find some form, and they've made 3 changes here with Sturk, Joris and Amanchi all starting. Can they still find their way to promotion against the Crewe side, who are mid-table? 3 changes for them. They can't make the playoffs.
Here's Onana for Aston Villa, who need to win here with 10-11 minutes to go. He's picked the ball up and he's charged forward. He's sent Marlon away down the left side of the box. He sends it back into the area and it's crossed into the box and it's cleared away, but it's come back out towards his right-hand side. Rodgers into the centre, poked towards goal by Marlon. It goes wide. It took a little touch and I think it's out for a corner.
I mean, Morgan Rodgers, brilliant vision. First time ball into the middle, got it back, fired it across. I think Marlon was there, in with Leno. I think Leno onto Marlon and behind.
Bradford want to get promoted from League 2 as well today. They'll be keeping an eye on Walsall, but they're 1 point above them, Adam Bridge.
If they win, they go up. They've made 3 changes. Baldwin, Keller and Critchlow are the players out. Smallwood, Shepherd and Kelly come in. Opponents Fleetwood make 5 changes. They're safe in mid-table in 14th.
Remember, Adrian takes you around the grounds a little bit later on. What an opportunity for Aston Villa to get 2 in front, but now they've got to defend because Adama Traore has gone spinning away down the right-hand side. He has done miraculously to outpace Luca Dean. He's got to the byline, but he couldn't get it under control.
I mean, look, Luca Dean's so relieved because Adama Traore just made up 10 yards on him, and then just as he went to control, just slipped, to the amusement of the Villa fans.
Right, let's head off to Blundell Park because Wimbledon in 6 need a draw to ensure that they guarantee a playoff place. And Graham Courtney has been to one of the best fish and chip shops in the country today to stock up before the game. What's the team news?
Fish was fantastic. David Artell, single change for Grimsby. Vernon out, Obikwu comes in. As for Wimbledon, couple of changes for them. Bougiel and Maycock are out. Reeves and Brown come in. Can't separate these two. Grimsby, Wimbledon, Blundell Park.
I hope you had some good ketchup on that as well. You've got to have chips and ketchup. You're listening to Aston Villa 0, Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0 on Talksport, Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games with no contract on now, like Arsenal versus Bournemouth live today. Search Now Sports. Here is Tielemans picking the ball up in midfield, looking to try and release Rodgers. Doesn't decide to do that. Goes back instead, and then Ramsey plays it out wide towards the left-hand side, up towards the edge of the box, but it's going to miss Tielemans and go all the way through to Leno, and it's cleared away. Look, they've had their chances to extend their lead, Aston Villa, and they haven't taken them, but that has left them vulnerable at the other end to the odd counter-attack and the possibility of conceding something stupid.
Yeah, it has. And it's something they've struggled to do all season, is keep that clean sheet, is to keep the opposition out. It's been too easy to score against Aston Villa this season, and actually it's a good test for them for the last 10 minutes or so to try and keep that.
Well, Aston Villa have won 8 of the last 10 Premier League games, kicking off at 12:30 on a Saturday. Fulham have lost each of their last 3 Premier League games, kicking off at 12:30 on a Saturday. But Villa have a terrible record of conceding late goals. They have also conceded 12 goals after the 90th minute mark in all competitions this season, the most of any club. And who do you think has scored more goals after the 90-minute mark to win games? Fulham, correct.
The only issue is Harrison Reed's going to have to come off, and they've used all their substitutions.
Oh, dear.
So I think they're going to go down to to 10 players because of that. He's obviously gutted, limping. I think it's a calf issue for him, so there's no way of just kind of staying on and being a body out there.
Well, he really has hurt himself, and he is coming off, and they're going to make a change in midfield, Aston Villa, because they've only had 4 substitutions, and Barkley is going to come on just to bolster that. And Harrison Reed is absolutely gutted. He is hobbling off, and it means that Fulham are going to have to play the final 6 minutes of this game with 10 players. And he's almost in tears, Harrison Reed. He hasn't had many chances, has he? He's been on the fringes of things throughout the course of the season. He was so useful for them a couple of seasons ago, but he is devastated as he trots down the tunnel away to our left-hand side. His head is in his hands. He looks a forlorn figure, really. And you hate to see that. A player who desperately wanted to make an impact now comes off, and it leaves his team with 10 players.
Yeah, Tielemans getting a great response from the Villa fans. He's been brilliant today.
But Barkley's come on in his stead for the final few minutes of the game. Konza into Amadou Onana. Onana, good turn, plays it out wide towards Rodgers. Rodgers down the right-hand side, looking to try and finish things off. Aston Villa here. They want to ensure they go into their next match with Bournemouth with a victory and a wind in their sails. Kamara's got it. Had someone behind him. He played a little bit safe again there, Kamara. Rodgers into the penalty area, looking for Barkley. Barkley comes back out and then runs towards goal. He's challenged by Lukic. It's turned away by Lukic out towards Willian, and Willian will bring it away for Fulham Football Club, who trail here by a goal to nil. Aston Villa scoring in the first 15 minutes, but have had chances to extend their lead. Ollie Watkins had a golden opportunity in the second half, but didn't take. There were other chances too, but Robinson is breaking down the left for Fulham. He gets towards the left angle of the penalty area, goes further onto the byline. A big cross towards Adama Traore, headed away by Digne, then further away by Onana, then up towards Marlon. Got to be careful here. Calvin Bassey goes down, says that he got something in the face. The referee has allowed play on. Bassey is down with a head injury, but Marlon is continuing, and he's running towards the edge of the penalty area. He could finish it here, but he took too many touches and then fell over, and the Fulham bench are going absolutely crackers because they think the game should have been stopped.
Difficult for the referee, obviously, with it being a head injury. I guess he should have felt like the game needed to stop, but there wasn't a lot in it. It was a sort of almost just a little flick of a hand from Marlon into the face of Bassey, and then he was away. But I tell you what, his centre-back partner bailed him right out. Just really clever defending in that he just stepped off Daniel Marlon and said, I'm just going to give you that space to go on the outside of me and take a strike. And the minute he dropped his shoulder and dragged the ball away, he then stepped across and just put him off and shoved him as he tried to take the strike. It was clever from Anderson.
We're in the final 5 minutes. Yellow card for a member of the coaching staff of Fulham. It might be Marco Silva who gets it, but it's a yellow card for arguing. He is told off, but Gavin Ward is still trying to placate a very angry Marco Silva, who doesn't mind having a pop at officials. I've got to be honest. I mean, straight away after a game, if there's been any controversial situation, he is very much on the front foot in that regard. He was very upset about a red card he thought should have been awarded in the game against Bournemouth, which didn't happen. Here is Willian down the left-hand side looking for Robinson. Robinson with a cross standing up to the far post. Jimenez is underneath it, and Adama Traore falling back, gets it on his shin and elevates it over the top of the crossbar.
Well, he did really well, Robinson, to dig out across with his left foot and scoop it towards the back post, and Jimenez was just a nuisance. Didn't really know where his header was going to land. It came to Adama Traore, and what makes this difficult is he wants to sort of fall away and side volley it into the ground, and just as he does that, Ramsey's behind him and gets his body in the way, and he then can't get his leg high enough up to keep it down. This is more tense and nervy at the end of the game than it should be, really, bearing in mind that Aston Villa have had control of it but just haven't put it to bed. No, but then now it should be possession. Got the extra player, slow things down. They haven't actually. They've been looking to counter-attack in numbers, and then Fulham have taken advantage a couple of times to get into those positions to cross.
Massive 3 minutes in regards to Aston Villa's season, massive few minutes at the end of the EFL Championship season. Bristol City 2, Preston 2, Burnley 2, Millwall 1, Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0, Derby 0, Stoke 0, Norwich 4, Cardiff 2, Plymouth 1, Leeds 1, Portsmouth 1, Hull 1, Sheffield United 1, Blackburn 1, Sunderland 0, QPR 1, Swansea 3, Oxford United 2, Watford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, and the key one, West Brom 5, Luton 2. It means that Luton's only chance of staying up now is that Portsmouth score against Hull and send Hull down instead of Luton, who at this moment are going to be the fourth team since the start of the Premier League to be relegated in consecutive seasons from the Premier League to the third tier. Burnley are going to win the title with 100 points as it stands at this moment, with Leeds in second, Sheffield United, Sunderland, Coventry and Bristol City all going through into the playoffs. Blackburn, Millwall missing out, Middlesbrough missing out, and actually only just finishing in the top 10 at the bottom of the table. Preston surviving, Derby surviving, Stoke surviving, Hull surviving as it stands, and Luton going down with Plymouth and Cardiff. There's only a few minutes to go. If you want full coverage, it's over on Talksport 2. Here we've got the last few seconds of Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whether you're on holiday, home or away this summer, Enterprise has locations all over Europe and a vehicle that's just right for you. Villa give the ball away inside their own half, give a throw into Anthony Robinson. William picks it up, tries to look up, find a body that's running into the box. Remember, they're down to 10 players here. Step over by Lukic, picked up by Smith Rowe, taken on towards the far side, and it's with Castagna now. He then finds Adama Traore. He runs at the Aston Villa defence. Barkley went to make a challenge and missed it. Kamara didn't. He met stuck in, but only goes back as far as Bassi. Bassi onto William, now to Traore again. Bundles his way forward, goes down under pressure from Rodgers. He thought he was being pulled back there, Adama Traore, and it goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, he probably was. I just wonder whether Rodgers actually gets the touch in the end or whether it is Adama Traore. It's close, might just nick off Rodgers, but very difficult to see. But they're making this so difficult for themselves, Aston Villa. As soon as Harrison Reed went off, it should have made it really comfortable for them just to see this game out.
What a day we've got for you tomorrow. Sunday session from 1:30. All the goals they're going from the Premier League, the Scottish Premiership, the WSL. Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham, Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle. All tomorrow live on Talksport from 1:30. We'll be at Chelsea. There's 8 minutes. 8 at the end of the game being added on. I don't know what that's all about. I mean, there was a bit of an injury, wasn't there, for Matt Cash that had to be dealt with, but 8 minutes seems a little bit excessive.
It does, and it's not what certainly these supporters, these Aston Villa supporters want. I think even the players have got that look about it. They just want it over with, don't they, the Villa players? It's not, they're not finding it easy just to see this out.
It's Coventry 2, Middlesbrough 0 over on Talksport 2, and that means now that Coventry City will definitely be in the playoffs. It's a terrific turnaround from where they were earlier in the season. They've been dragged from what looked like possibly being even a relegation scrap all the way into the playoffs. Excellent work from Joe Edwards and Frank Lampard, the manager of Coventry City, and the players who have done superbly. Jack Redoni with the goal in the first half put them in front just before half-time. They've scored a second goal late on through Redoni, and it is 2-0 to Coventry City. And Middlesbrough are going to finish 10th. Coventry are going to be going to the playoffs, and it is going to be some end-of-season bonanza on Talksport when we bring you all the playoff semi-finals from League 1, League 2 and the Championship, and all the playoff finals from Wembley as well. The end of the season is always terrific in the EFL. Here is Adama Traore, hoping to end the game well for Fulham. Right at the very end here, Aston Villa 1, Fulham 0, live on Talksport. 7 minutes still to play of stoppage time here, and there's a tension and nervousness amongst the Aston Villa support because they are in a situation here, Aston Villa, where they need to win this game, but it's 1-0. No cushion for them. A slight mistake now could be costly. Robinson charges forward,
The ball to him from deep is too high. It goes out of play and will go off to the game at the Hawthorns, where there's been another goal for Mickey Gray.
Into the final minute of the 19, it's come for Luton. It's West Bromwich Albion 5, Luton Town 3. Milanic Ali with his second goal. A lovely little curl, right foot into the top corner. Have they left it? Too late, the Hatters. West Bromwich Albion 5, Luton Town 3.
Well, imagine if they were to score another one in the next few seconds. We've had such a rash of goals in that game. That would be the greatest comeback of all time. Sensational. At the moment, Luton are about to go down, and that is a real concern for that football club as they embark on a mission to build a new stadium as well. They have started to prepare the ground for that. That's going to start. The building work's going to start in the summer. They don't want to be in League One. Here is Digne, all the way back to his goalkeeper. I mean, the relegation they suffered from the Premier League has certainly had an effect on them, hasn't it, Dean?
Oh, massively. I mean, that group of players, they shouldn't have been in this position. There's too much quality, but we have said that before. They've not been able to pick themselves up.
Kamara, deep inside his own territory for Aston Villa in those claret shirts with light blue sleeves, out towards Cash. Now they are keeping hold of the ball a little bit more judiciously and not forcing the issue, Aston Villa, knowing that maybe this one goal will be enough for them, and it's a goal that will move them up the table in terms of points, but not necessarily in terms of position. They'll remain in 7th position, but they'll have the same number of points as Nottingham Forest and Chelsea. But here's Marlon trying to finish it down the right side, smashes the ball against the underside of the crossbar, and it comes back out. Great opportunity for Donyell Marlon to finish the game. He went racing down the right hand side, he got his shot away, and it hit the underside of the crossbar. Dean Ashton.
I mean, beautiful football from Aston Villa. In towards Barkley, first time to Ramsey, first time to Donyell Marlon. He's through, he just needs to have that composure. And once again, Anderson just does enough so that it's not an easy chance for him by just shoving him in the back of the head as he's about to strike. But still, there needs to be the composure. It just needs to be nicely side-footed either side of Leno. He thrashes through it. It goes past Leno and hits the crossbar. Should be 2-0.
Should be 2-0. Probably should be even more than that. They've had the chances, not put them away, but they're going to edge over the line here, it feels, rather than win, unless they concede a late goal. And Boubacar Kamara there, holding the ball in the centre circle, gets fouled, but he was getting a bit of pressure from Raul Jimenez before that. If they'd turned the ball over there, Fulham, they were away and had the whole of the Aston Villa half to run into.
Just looking at Anderson as well, him and Marlon are just having a chat, and I think that's what they're talking about, was that kind of shove in the back of the head. Now imagine you go and try and make a cup of tea in the morning and you just as you're about to pour it in, you get a shove in the back of the head.
The water goes everywhere, I'll lose my rag, I'll be going, where's the kitchen roll?
Exactly.
It'll be a nightmare.
It's a little thing, but it really puts you off as a forward when you just get that shove or a bit of pressure on you when you want to be nice and balanced.
Burnley are going to beat Millwall by 3-1. Chris Hull, they're going to win the title.
Deep into added time, Burnley 3, Millwall 1, and it's Josh Brownhill with a free kick from the edge of the box into the bottom corner, but Burnley have got a second goal, so it's all turned around at the top of the Championship. Burnley 3, Millwall 1.
They're not going to win the title because Leeds have scored down at Plymouth in the final seconds. Leeds top of the table with 100 points, and they're above Burnley on goal difference. So Burnley, who have all afternoon long been on top of the Championship, might just have been pipped to the post by Daniel Farke and Leeds United. They were going to get 100 points just like Burnley. How can you get 100 points and not win the title? Wow. It's unbelievable.
What an end.
Leeds are going to win the title. Here on the right-hand side, Adama Traore into the box. It might come through towards Raul Jimenez. It's cleared away. Unbelievable. Leeds have just scored right at the end in the Championship. It's been an amazing race where the lead has changed hands so many times over the course of the campaign, but ultimately Leeds are going to get the job done. They're going to come from behind to beat Plymouth. Millwall took the lead against Burnley, but Burnley have come from behind. They've won too. Both teams have won, but Leeds have a superior goal difference. They're going up into the Premier League as champions.
Sheffield United, Sunderland, Coventry and Bristol City in the playoffs. That's the way it stands at the moment. Luton going down unless Portsmouth can do Hull bad down at Fratton Park. If they score against Hull, Portsmouth, in the last few seconds of that game, then Hull will be relegated. Otherwise it's Luton who are going to League One. Here it's 1-0 to Aston Villa, and Robinson has it on the near touchline. His right-footed cross this time is a teasing one. Digne underneath it, heads it away. Picked up by Ramsey. Ramsey wants to run it clear, but Traore blocks his path. Rodgers has made a run over the halfway line. Didn't release him, decided to keep hold of possession. And they go into the last 20 seconds of the 8 minutes that have been added here at the end of the game, which have caused them pain. Now, Barkley and Bassey wrestling for the ball. Barkley's got away from him. He's tried to play it infield to Rodgers. He's given it straight to Robinson instead.
Oh, what an opportunity for Bark. Did he not just see that Robinson was there? Again, though, they should have just been keeping possession.
Full time at Villa Park, and victory for Aston Villa means they keep their hopes alive of qualifying for the Champions League with an important, if nervy and tense win over Fulham that puts pressure on those above them to continue to achieve. Yuri Tielemans with a moment that could prove all important. There's been a few all-important moments over the course of the last 2 hours.